And I think we're live. Hello and welcome to this modmore announcements hangout. Last weekend at the MODXpo, we had a couple of announcements. We tried to live stream them, but unfortunately they didn't quite work out. First time hangouts didn't work, and the second time we got blocked because YouTube decided that there was some music in the background. And apparently that was licensed. It blocked our stream. And third time, it just didn't work with the video and audio. So tonight I'm just going to go through my slides again for our international community who want to know what we've announced and how. So that's the plan for today. You can use the Q&A app on the side of the Hangout screen to ask us questions. At the end of the presentation, I will go over those and answer them. So please do put them in there. All right, so we had a couple of announcements at the MODXpo, and it's all started a couple of years ago when I said I just want to build cool stuff. That's why I found modmore. And there's a couple of things we do nowadays. We try to contribute to the MODXpo as much as possible, including a number of extras that have been released by other people in the community. I'm also a core integrator, which means I can help out with merging pull requests and stuff like that. As modmore, we've also released a number of open source extras ourselves. Quick start button, scheduler, and Gitify are a couple of them. And in our attempts to bring the community together, we launched MODX Today, which is a news magazine style website, and the MODX Slack channel. We have 5 premium extras today. These are Redactor, which is our rich text editor, Simple AB, more gallery for, well, galleries, which puts them in the resource tree instead of a separate component. ContentBlocks, which I'll talk about in a second, as well as Simple Card. I'll just go over Redactor and ContentBlocks real quickly. If you want to learn more about these, you can of course look at our website at modmore.com. So Redactor is a rich text editor. It does exactly what you think it does, and it has a number of really cool features for both the non-technical editors as well as power users. The most important thing is that it looks simple. It isn't, but it looks simple to the user. There's not a lot of complexities involved, and it just looks good. One feature for power users is syntax highlighting in the source mode. And for regular users, again, we have a very simple upload function. Just select your image, upload it, and that's it. Browsing was also added in Redactor 2, which gives you the Eureka media browser developed by JP, which gives you a lot of information, a lot of accessible access to media sources and all the folders within. It's insanely configurable, has about 150 settings inside, compared to around 230 in the MODX core, so that's quite a lot. All of these also context aware, so you can also set them on the context, and also the user or user group levels. ContentBlocks is multi-column modular content. As you can see in this screenshot, you have 3 columns of content, and each column is broken up again into smaller pieces, which we call fields or blocks, which give you a lot of flexibility because you can just drag and drop different blocks around the page. As with everything in MODX, you still have 100% control over the markup. This is an example of a layout, one of the rows in the page, and how you can set up the actual markup that's generated. Yeah, so that results in a lot less templates. You don't need as much unique templates for specific types of pages. Instead, you just put different types of content within the content canvas and have that generated. It changed the way quite a bit of people build their websites. Don't take my word for it. Look up these reviews on the website. I think it's an average of about 4.8 stars currently, so that's really, really good reviews. And something else we do is we give back financially. Obviously, we're making money with selling our premium extras, but we give back as much as we can. For example, we donated over 4,000 euros to MODX company, which gave us a nice spot here on the Wall of Fame, as you can see. But we've also given away 1,111 euros in our 1-year anniversary and donated to a number of charities over the time. We also organize our own conference and help sponsor meetups and conferences around the world. So we do try to get the community in one place. Which brings me to the super exclusive announcements that you might have already heard about, because we did post a summary up on our blog yesterday. The first one is the upcoming ContentBlocks release, version 1.3. It's been a long time in the making. We've got a couple of really cool features in there. For example, you are now able of stacking columns. Previously, you could only use up to 100% in width in the layout. Otherwise, it would start messing up your layout, start messing up the columns. That has been fixed in 1.3. So you can now use 200 or 300, even 400%. And this is great for the more complex layouts. Yeah. You can also insert layouts anywhere now. Previously only at the bottom. In version 1.3 you can add them from anywhere with the new Add Layout button. You can rename layouts within the page. This is particularly useful if you have a really long marketing style page. You might want to give a proper description to each layout rather than just like the main and sidebar, to give a better idea of what's happening there when you collapse everything. Settings are also aware, context aware in ContentBlocks 1.3. And we've added a lot of new path placeholders in 1.3 as well. This is now in sync with Redacted 2. So you can use any resource field or any template variable when setting up an upload path. In terms of performance, we've also improved the way thumbnails are generated. Already we added thumbnail generation. The idea is that if your client uploads an image of 3 or 4 megabytes, that the browser only has to load a thumbnail in the content canvas. So that's a really good. That really helps with performance on larger pages as well. There's more where that came from. And the pre-release is coming within the next couple of weeks. We're just crossing the T's, dotting the I's, so that's really close. I guess I was muted for a couple of steps there. I'm not sure how long I was muted. Okay, let's just skip back a few slides then. So we have a new demo set up to give you an opportunity to try out our extras. The old one lacked, especially in terms of demoing ContentBlocks. So this is the new one. It's built around a fake company website based on a theme. And it shows you how especially ContentBlocks works. So we have, for example, a carousel repeater here, and a number of other fairly advanced ContentBlocks usages that give you a bit of an idea of how you could build it up for your clients. It also has a web shop based on SimpleCart. It's fully functional, so you can actually run through it from adding a product to your cart all the way through to the checkout, including the payment gateways. Though obviously you won't actually be charged. It will be set up with a test gateway. This will launch next week. Just dotting the T's, crossing the I's. Crossing the T's, dotting the I's. But the source of this demo site is already available on GitHub. It has been built with Gitify, which is one of our free toolkits, open source toolkits. And if you want, you can already take a look at it and install it locally. Install it locally. The hosted version will, of course, reset nightly, but if you need a slightly more permanent demo site, you can just grab this and set it up automatically. That's number 3. Sorry for skipping out of these slides every now and then, just need to make sure everything's broadcasting properly. So previously, or actually currently, 1 license for our premium extras equals 1 domain. That's a decision I made probably around 3 years ago now. Made sense at the time, but as time went on, this has been becoming slightly troublesome. People want to try it out. People have complex development workflows, staging workflows. People that just want to try out development as well. So in Munich, we had a company meeting where the entire team was present. So we discussed a couple of options there. One of them was offering multiple domains per license. That's a model that SimpleCart uses, as well as Extras.io. But we think that if you do something, you need to do it right. Go big or go home. So I'm happy to announce again that all of our premium extras will be free to use on development. This will work across localhost, certain top-level domains such as .dev, .log, or .local, and automatically, so there's no need to get in touch with us to get a free license or try it out. It will just work. We do need to finish some technical challenges. There's a couple of things we need to implement still. So we will be rolling this out in the first quarter of next year. And we'll have more information about specific details out by then as well. Finally, there's one more announcement to share with you today. We do quite like a challenge. We've seen that with Redactor, which had an impact on how people use regex editors. We took up a challenge with ContentBlocks when we introduced modular content to MODX. And we have one more challenge up our sleeves today. This is for a type of project that has historically been quite difficult to achieve properly in MODX. There have been people and companies who tried to fix it, but most of them never really matured in terms of the actual products. So that sounded like something that we as modmore could take on. So we did, starting in January, past January that is. We took slow steps, made sure that the architecture is proper, that we can commit to everything that's needed. And today we're excited, or actually last Friday we were excited to announce Commerce. Commerce is, as you might expect from the name, an e-commerce solution. It has been developed from the ground up, so it's not SimpleCart version 3 or modmore billing engine version 2. It was developed completely from scratch, though obviously it does use the lessons we've learned from our own billing engine and SimpleCart to get to the best solution. We built it to be extended, and not in the way that there are a couple of events you can listen to, but actually that roughly 90% of the code can be extended without breaking your upgrade path. It's a really big feature. There's not a lot of shops that are similar. There's often a lot of custom development going on to implement the shop to the client's request. So making it sure it's extendable was one of the top priorities. Of course, there are still similarities between shops that we can account for, so we do have sensible defaults that make sure you can launch quickly. The core itself is fairly lightweight. Most of the actual handling of things like orders and stuff are offloaded to modules, where modules can be enabled, disabled, and extended as well. So that's really powerful. So if you don't need, for example, a coupons module, you can disable it, and all of the coupons related aspects, including in the backend and the front end, are then removed. They don't exist anymore. The card is obviously quite flexible, as you might expect from an e-commerce solution. We built an Ajax support with the intention of providing progressive enhancement. So the basic checkout will function just with HTML, CSS, but if you want, you can easily enhance that with Ajax support. Here's a quick example of how it looks currently. We haven't gotten quite to designing this part of the module yet. That's still to be done, but it is working. The admin panel, the backend is completely built HTML first. We've been working on a framework that makes it possible to build it that way, build it without XJS. And that framework will also be open sourced in the future. So, for example, if you disable JavaScript in the manager, it breaks completely, with the exception of the commerce admin section that still works exactly as you would imagine. Here's a quick screenshot of how it looks. Again, this is still work in progress. In this screenshot, you can see the navigation bar, which shows you the different pages, different sections of the backend of your shop. And below that, a quick analytics, so at a glance style feature. This is the list of orders. Mostly self-explanatory, I guess. When you click one of the orders in the grid, it will pop down this order summary, and you can see some quick actions at the bottom there. That are the most common things that you as a merchant might need to do. Commerce will have full support for taxes. Again, through the modules I mentioned earlier. There's already a module for the EU VAT, sorry. And there will be modules for a fixed tax rates like SimpleCart, where you enter conditions and the VAT rates. And we will integrate with what's called again? Tax Cloud for the US sales tax, which is really complicated. But we will have these modules available out of the box. We'll also have at least 10 payment gateways available when we launch commerce. We already have 4, which are PayPal, Stripe, Molly, and Braintree. And we will be adding a lot more to that list over the next couple of months. Another important feature of commerce is that it has complete exports and reports available. Shops don't typically stop at the online cart and order management, but they also need to be integrated with accounting. People want to know how the shop is doing, and commerce will provide functions for that. In terms of managing your catalog, that's going to be really flexible. There will be a built-in product management section with categories that you can use for smaller shops. But when your shops get bigger, more complex, more needs for custom options and stuff like that, commerce will be able to integrate with simple cart, mini shop, or custom development as needed. And we'll talk about this quite a bit more in the future. We also made sure the code is unit tested. Here are the current numbers in terms of tests and coverages. This is still work in progress as well. We want to get it to at least 90-95% coverage. But let's make sure that we can already ensure it's stable and doesn't have regressions and stuff like that in the code. Another important aspect of e-commerce is documentation. We will have 3 different levels of that. We'll have the developer docs, the developer reference, which will include auto-generated API references for all the public methods, all the classes that are included, as well as documentation about how things are built and why. It includes the modules in particular, how you can use those with example codes as well. There will also be an implementation guide, obviously, that's aimed towards the front-end developers, the designers, the people that need to build a shop. That will be more tutorial style, step-by-step instructions. And finally, there is the end-user guide that will also be available. This will be targeted towards the non-technical end users, the merchants, if you will, explaining how they can use the backend of commerce to manage a shop, get information out of it, etc. Commerce is also ready for the future. We've made sure that when MODXpo comes out, we will be able of easily adapting to that, even if there are breaking changes. We have layers in between MODXpo and commerce that we can change. So that will make it possible for us to support MODXpo and MODXpo within the same package. And finally, commerce is still work in progress. We will have an early access program starting in January or February. And the public launch is expected later in the year, hopefully Q2. By this time, you probably have some questions. I've got a few in my slides, and then I will go over the ones that are in the Q&A. We're not quite sure how much commerce will cost. We have an idea, but we haven't agreed on the final price yet. This is something that especially the early access program will help us with determining. So more to follow on that. To get on the early access list to join the program, visit modmore.com/commerce. There's a form there. There's also more information about commerce that you can sign up to get on the list there. SimpleCart is not going anywhere. We will continue maintaining that for at least 1 year after commerce is publicly released. And at that point, we'll evaluate where it stands, if it's still actively used, stuff like that. So at this point, that means that we will have at least 1.5 years of active support for SimpleCart. If you do have a SIM card site, we'll offer a great deal for you on commerce, as well as tools and documentations to upgrade or migrate to commerce. And this will all be available when we launch publicly. If you have a certain feature in mind that you want to make sure that commerce have, do let us know. Chances are it's already on our list or already done, but I'd rather hear two of the same feature requests than not at all. So find us on Twitter, send us email support or on our forum. And you can learn more about commerce at this website, modmore.com/commerce. So these are the 4 announcements that we gave last Friday, and here for you as well, of course. Now let me just get back to these normal Hangout. Yes, there we are. All right, so if you have any questions, be sure to post them in the Q&A and I will go over those now. Yes, my sound was gone for a moment. So Sherman Martin's asking if there will be a MailChimp e-commerce 360 integration. If that's not on our list yet, I will make sure we do file it. But that's something that could also easily be added as a module. It's a very flexible system. So even if that's not available out of the box, that is something you could easily add later on. Okay. We would like to see a report of what users order a specific product. I guess that's a feature request for the backend. That is something that's already on the list. I guess we don't have a lot of active views at the moment. I'll hang around for a couple more minutes to see if there's any other questions that come in. Of course, if you have any questions later, you can also send it to us via email, support@modmore.com, via Twitter @modmore, or post on our forum at forum.modmore.com, which also has a separate commerce section available right now. Would it be possible for comms to you to manage memberships, for example, giving user an access for upon payment? Absolutely. There will be a subscriptions module coming later on in the year, and depending on your needs, that might be an interesting solution. Otherwise, it's always possible to create a custom integration, something that happens when the payment is received, stuff like that. So that's definitely going to be very possible. Thank you, Joey. I'm not seeing any other questions at this point. So I'm going to wait 2 more minutes for questions. If we don't have any questions by then we'll just call it a day. Also quickly checking if there's been any questions on the Black Slack, perhaps. Hey, new questions. In terms of using cart item inside of ContentBlocks, I am not sure if I understand what you're looking to do. But cart item inside of ContentBlocks. The products will be very flexible to manage. Basically, there is a layer that where commerce asks, okay, give me the price, the name, and description of a product based on SKU. And that's what it uses in generating the cart, calculating prices, taxes, all that stuff. So if you want to manage, if you have a very simple shop, it's just one page and you have it all in ContentBlocks, you could create a separate a product layer for that it can actually find that information it needs from the ContentBlocks page. Of course, you can already with ContentBlocks insert whatever you want. You can create a custom field that or a chunk input that gets the active card, for example. So integrations like that shouldn't be a problem. All right. I am going to call it a day. If you have any further questions, be sure to reach out to us. Send us an email. Find us on Twitter or our forum.modmore.com. There's a separate commerce section for your questions as well. Have a great day, evening, wherever you are, and we hope to see you soon. Bye.